Good morning, lovely people. How are you all today? I hope you're well. I'm already feeling a little bit... Oh my goodness, it's another muggy day. It's not too hot, there's a bit of cloud cover, but oh my goodness. Do you know what I think? Because I took Friday off and had that lovely day in the garden with friends, it's kind of put me in holiday mode somehow. It's my first proper day off this year and it was so gorgeous. I just want to take every day off now for the next 2 weeks. I think having had that day off, the rest of the year sort of caught up with me, if that makes sense. I'm sure you've all experienced this when you go on holiday, you get annual leave, that those first couple of days you suddenly, even though you're on holiday, you suddenly feel utterly exhausted. And that's how I'm feeling. And to be honest, I'd kind of rather not be here, or not be here to do any work. But I've looked at my schedule in the next sort of couple of weeks and I've hardly got any time for the garden. In fact, for the next week or so, I probably won't be able to get here. So bearing that in mind, well, there's one job I must do, and that is to prick out those poor baby brassicas. I need to get them into much bigger pots with much more compost, soil, whatever I've got to hand, so that there's more soil to hold water, because if I'm not going to be here to water even. So the plan is to prick them out, put them in trays, in gravel trays, so no holes, and actually put them in quite a bit of water. It should be okay because the roots, where they'll be in the pot, the roots hopefully won't be right in the bottom, so the roots won't be sitting in the water, but the soil can just wick that water up over the next few days. So that's an absolute priority. The slight disappointing thing for today is on my way in, I've just been over to our burn pile to see about rummaging for some stakes for the tomatoes. Oh my goodness, there's just such a massive mound of material in there. Brambles, there's tons of grass and weedy stuff. I don't know who's been putting that there because we're not supposed to. But I don't think I'm gonna get anywhere trying to get the stakes out of there. So, oh, I don't know, maybe I'm just a bit down today, but I'm sort of kicking myself that I didn't get on with that sort of 6 weeks or so ago, I think, when they first appeared. And I kind of feel like that's been the theme all year, that I don't know what's happened to my timing. Honestly, I don't know what's happened. I just feel I've felt like I'm chasing my tail pretty much for the whole year, which is not normal for me and annoying. But there we go. I'm where I'm at and I just have to deal with where I'm at. So I've got a great big long list to see how far I get today. Actually, I'm going to take this off because, oh, it's my lovely little cardi top. This was a little birthday present from Wendy. Thank you so much, Wendy. It's a perfect little cover-up for if there's a stiff breeze, but at the moment there's no breeze, there's just mugginess. Oh, I promised also to shout out to Abby's mum, Shaz from Plot 16. So, good morning, Shaz from Plot 16. I hope you're well today. And another little thank you. I didn't mention this in the last video because, well, we were so giddy by then. But when Richard and Paul visited, Paul's one single germinated mountain tea, and he's gifted it to me because he knows, well, he knows how special that is to me. So what a lovely gift. So I need to find somewhere for that. Again, I'm going to probably just sit it in a tray on the deck for now with a goodly bit of water in and hope that that's enough to keep things going over the next few days when I won't be here. So, oh dear, I'm sure you can sense my mood, can't you? And I know we all have days like this. It just feels like a drudge and a trudge. But we'll get stuff done. I think that's the thing on days like this, is to just get stuck in, get that first job underway, and then the other jobs will follow. And the other thing, so when I arrived this morning, one of my plot neighbours from a couple of plots down was on my plot just having a look around, and bless her, she's sort of despairing a bit. She was looking at my garden and saying, but everything's so much further on than mine. And I was saying, really? I don't think so. So I've been to have a look at hers, and it's like, look, your squash are doing great. And we all need to try to encourage each other at the moment, because I think a lot of us are feeling a bit like, nothing is growing. But whilst we were standing chatting on my plot, looking at my plot, I was looking at all the weeds and thinking, oh, how embarrassing. So they're still not a priority, but on the other hand, I probably will do some weeding today, because if I leave at the end of today and the plot is looking clean again, I'll feel that's been a good day's effort. But right, let's get these poor brassicas sorted. They're going to be in an absolute state, I'm sure, but I'll show them to you anyway. Right, well, there's no two ways about it. I'm definitely feeling a little bit disheartened by things today. Oh my goodness. So I've got all the second lot of brassicas. Basically, I sowed all my brassicas at the same time back in beginning of April, and then by about the beginning of May I started pricking out. There were loads of cells that looked like they were going to be empty, but actually the next lot was starting to germinate. So even though they were all sown at the same time, they seemed to germinate they seemed to germinate about 4 weeks apart. So I always meant to get these pricked out once they were big enough. Oh, cats having hissy fits. Once they were big enough, which was actually a few weeks ago. So yeah, it's okay. Now, in the meantime, because I've had the shade netting on the cold frame, as I've done in previous years, because I keep the brassicas in there until they're ready to go out into the garden once another crop comes out, such as the onions. So I keep them in there under the shade netting, and they seem to do okay. But because of the shade netting, I think I'm not giving them a really close eyeball each time I'm here. And this is a lesson to me, all of us, especially with something like netting. And it's true even of, say, the carrots and leeks with the EnviroMesh on. I think it is worth every now and again, even if it's, say, once a week, just pull all the netting back, have a look at what's going on in there. Because I haven't done that, and just taking all these trays out today, oh my goodness, there were so many slugs and snails in the cold frame. I've got a beer trap in the cold frame, which has been filling, but obviously not enough. So a lot of these have been really, really properly massacred. However, I'm always saying however, aren't I? Look, I mean, how pathetic is that? But there's life there. There is life there. So where there's life, there's a bit of hope, and they will get potted on. Oh, that one's much better. Yeah, a job for weeks and weeks ago. Listen, this mood thing, it's funny, isn't it? I'm sure we all get it from time to time. And I'm sure there's loads of you watching who think, but Vivi, your garden's looking great. Yes, things are okay, things are growing. I've just had a look this morning, the cucumbers are actually really starting to get away now. Can I get you apart? But there are days like today, and I don't think there's any point in fighting it or trying to pretend that we don't feel this way, when it just feels like, it just feels a bit uphill at times. I think also my neighbour's mood has rubbed off on me a bit. You know, we were both talking about all the things we've sown which they've either not germinated or they've come up and then the slugs have had them, the pigeons have had them, this has had them, that's had them, the others had them. So if you're feeling a bit like that, a bit like I'm feeling today, don't worry. I think it's perfectly normal. Good morning. Yeah, I think it's perfectly normal to feel like that from time to time. See if a session in the garden will perk your mood up. You know, if after an hour or two of doing this, I'm still feeling fed up, I might go home. Actually, I won't, because I think that's part of the issue. Today, right, that compost that's spare, that can go somewhere as mulch. Yeah, I think part of my mood today is that sense of pressure to get things done, because I won't be in the garden for ages. So because I'm under the pressure to get things done, I'm just I think it's the wrong day. Anyway, what are these? Broccoli. Gosh, they're kind of sad looking as well, aren't they? But let's see what we can rescue. The other thing I must do, now that I've seen just how many slugs and snails are in the cold frame, is I'm going to go and empty the whole thing out. So all the other pots of brassicas that were potted on weeks ago, just get everything out. Do a big picking off session. Don't like. I think there's a couple, it looks like a couple of my prickings have keeled over. Get those out. Stick the compost somewhere else. And just hope that at some point the garden starts to work its magic on me. Do you know, I think it's those weeds as well. Those weeds are really, they're bugging me. That's silly, isn't it? I know. What is that? Broccoli. My, Cavaronera. Oh yeah, they are labelled. Yeah, the lolly sticks, the little wooden lolly sticks. This shows that everything has been in there too long, because they've faded almost to non-readability. All right, my lovelies, this is going to take me. This is going to take for ages, so I'll get on with this. Hopefully, perk myself up. Maybe I need to do, I'm just thinking about it, I'm thinking out loud, maybe I need to do a really physical job. Sometimes a really physical job can get me back in the mode. The compost bin definitely needs turning. I'll think about that while I'm continuing to pot these all on. Right, well, I think that's everything now, I think. So, gosh, you know, it really is a motley crew, but I'm sticking with them. I'm going to hope they all just perk up, come back to life somehow. But what I am going to do is that loft extension again. Sod's law, isn't it? I'm just going to make sure everything is in a tray that can hold some water. Oh, I need to make a pile of snails for the birds. Yeah, I need to make sure all these trays are going to hold water so that they can get a good watering, and then I can leave them for a few days rather than these seed trays which are full of holes. Oh, that was that snail. I just put it there for a moment. I've just popped it. Oh dear, sorry. So, purple sprouting broccoli. Purple sprouting broccoli. I have now got, oh sorry, hang on a sec. I've got about 2 more of those cell flats still. I've got one over there with a load of sprouts in, as in Brussels sprouts, and one with some more purple sprouting broccoli. But I've got down to my last teeny tiny bit of compost. So I've focused, so all of these are all the sprouts that I pricked out weeks and weeks ago. This is, well, there's a couple of savoys in here, but these are looking beautiful. Look at the colour, aren't they gorgeous? I can't even get to you to show you. Hang on a sec, I'm going to go flying. This is a variety called Red Ball. Beautiful, but I've never had much success with sprouts ever. So I've got in total, I think, about 20 sprout plants. That'll do. So the rest that are in those cells, I'm not going to prick out. I'm just going to see if someone else wants them, because I don't have a huge amount of room for brassicas. What room I do have, I want for my Cavolo. Where's the Cavolo? This one's Cavolo. Yeah, I would much rather give priority to Cavolo, the purple sprouting broccoli, the Calabrese broccoli. This is purple, not purple sprouting. This is Cavolo too. Oh, they are looking a bit moth-eaten, I have to say. Well, that one's completely copped it. Let's have you out. I'm not going to give space, time and attention to ones that have really had a tough time. Yeah, so, oy vey. I think also, whilst I've just been doing this morning, as always, time has flown. This has all taken much longer than I anticipated or wanted it to. But I think I put my finger on why I'm sort of not terribly feeling it today. I think it's quite simple, actually. I think it's because most of the jobs that I'm doing today, this morning and now this afternoon, I think it's literally just gone noon. Most of the jobs I'm doing, I should have done weeks ago. So I feel, that's a little seed head has just exploded behind you, did you hear it? I feel in some ways like I've let my garden down this year, and by letting the garden down I've let myself down. So yeah, I was feeling really pretty maudlin about it actually this morning. So pricking out these things, and they're tiny, they're pathetic, and I was this far away from just saying, nah, I've had enough, I'm jacking it in. But then gave myself a little bit of a talking to, because if I don't do this today, it's not going to get done for at least another week, if not longer. And actually, all I did was I came out into the garden, came away from the shed. I sat on my deck chair for 5 minutes and just watched the bees in the lavender. I've walked up the garden and I've reminded myself that things are growing, that, you know, I'm doing okay this year, that I haven't been lazy, I haven't let the garden down. I've just been doing other stuff. I think this is all broccoli now. I've got 2 varieties, so they can go in next, but let's have a jiggle. Yeah, so is that going to go flying? So yeah, I think I was being a bit hard on myself this morning, and time with the plants has chippered me again. Let's have the cabbages over there as well. Oh, I could do with a second pair of hands today. So someone want to come give me a hand? You'd be most welcome. Right, oh, big fat slug. I want to go and get my gloves. I don't want to deal with that without my gloves on. So yeah, I'll carry on, get this all filled up again, make sure everything's had a really good drink, especially everything I've pricked out today, because they were all really quite dry, because of course those cells, they don't hold the water, got drainage holes in. So yeah, labels, watering can, trays, on it. Well, this is one of the things that's definitely helped to cheer me up today. It's 3 days since you saw me tying these up. I tied them right to the tops. So there's the last tie. Can you see that there? So I did that Friday. Here we are on Monday. And I need to tie another tie a good foot up. Yay! I'm sure it's this current heat that we're having. I also noticed with the cukes this morning, they've all gone up a bit. Oh, you need another tie too. Yeah, they've all gone up a little bit, and they're just getting their little tendrils onto the little rungs of the ladder. So now I'm just quickly doing this because I'd literally just noticed it in a bit of a walk around earlier when I was trying to cheer myself up. Oh my goodness. I'm actually on my way to the tomatoes because oh dear, I really need to get supports in, obviously. I've gone through all my, oh look at that, another lovely bit of growth. Excuse me. Yeah, I've gone through all my sticks, poles, what have you, that had stored behind the fence. They all, apart from 2, look pretty weak and brittle. I'm thinking, I'm trying to stay chilled about it, but I'm thinking that I've really shot myself in the foot this year with my tomatoes and my care of them. But, well, some years are like that. Never mind. It just shows me that for next year I do need to, I will probably need to invest in some more poles of some sort. I'd basically been waiting to see if I'd find something in the skip. Then I did see that stuff in the burn pile, missed my opportunity, kicking myself about it, but it just shows that, you know, I do rely on finding stuff for free nearly all the time. And, well, the bottom line is you can't rely on that. So, let's see what I can do for these tomatoes today. Ay caramba. Oh, moment of truth. Fingers crossed. I've only got 2 decent cones, so I'm going to put these next to these first 2 because these are the biggest. But am I even going to get it in the soil? My goodness. Well, I'm hoping that the mulch means, oh yeah, that the ground isn't rock hard. Honestly, don't leave your tomato support as late as me. This is ridiculous. Oh well, better late than never. Oh, first trusses. Oh, yeah. Got some tomato trusses. So what I'll do is I'm going to get these all these stakes in. Get them all tied in, and while I'm at it, I'm going to remove all the little side shoots. Let me bring you in close so I can show you what I'm going to do with the side shoots. I hope you'll be able to see from there. Can you see? This is my main stem. Here's my leaf, and in the axil where the leaf joins the stem, I've got this little side shoot which I'm going to, I'm just going to nip out. Break out. Amazingly, I did this about 2 weeks ago with all the plants. but they're massively chucking out all these side shoots, and I want the energy to go into, can you see that there? There's my first little truss. Oh, and even my first, see that against my fingers, my first little fruits forming. Yay! So like I said, I'll get these all tied in, staked and tied in. Oh, another massive side shoot there at the bottom, really big one. I'll get them all tied in, and then what I will probably do, oh, another side shoot there. I will possibly, especially towards the bottom, just clip some of the foliage back just to make sure I've got good air circulation around each plant. But this is going to take me a little while, so I'd better shut up and get on with it. Yes, time to get on. Good stuff, right. So finally, they're all staked, they're all tied in, they've all had their side shoots removed. So now I'm just going to start trimming back some of the foliage, especially towards the bottom. There's a couple of reasons for doing this. Actually, when I get to the bottom, I do tend to just completely remove the leaf. As I'm coming further up, maybe just half a leaf so it can still do its photosynthesizing. Two reasons for doing it. Well, it's all the same reason ultimately. It's all part of my kind of blight prevention cares. So with the lower leaves especially, what I don't want is if we do get heavy rain and it's splashing back up onto those bottom leaves, I want to make sure that around each plant, as I was mentioning earlier, I want to make sure there's sort of good space for the air to circulate, so that if they do get showered with rain, then hopefully there's enough space around them for the air to move so that they can dry quickly. And with these bottom ones, what I don't want them actually sitting, touching the damp floor. I want them dry. Because there's one thing, well, there are two things blight loves: damp and warmth. So obviously we've got the warmth at the moment. Now, I don't think we're not expecting any rain anytime soon, but even just after I've watered them, as I'm watering them, that does splash them. And like I say, the leaves, particularly at the bottom, which are actually sat touching the soil, I don't want that. I will also do my aspirin spray. I don't think I'm going to have time to do it. I'm running out of time today. Oh, it's always the way, isn't it? Always battling the clock. I'm sure I've said this before, but I fantasise about the idea of being able to have just 5 days. Woo! That's really wobbly. Imagine 5 days a week in the garden. I think we would probably all love that, wouldn't we? But it's not going to happen. So I'm not even going to think about it too much. Okay, let me get on with this, and then I'll see if there's any time left this afternoon to start thinking about tackling another job. I'm definitely not going to do the compost bin job today. There's absolutely no way I've got time for that. I've just had a little look in the bottom. Oh, it looks quite dry, but even so, I'm going to get the whole thing emptied. The stuff that has gone down a bit, I'm going to pull that out and I'm going to get it onto the chickpea and the rocking coal bed as mulch. And then I think that's pretty much most of the bare bits of soil covered once I get those two done. Yay! But not today. Oh, goodness me. Such a muggy day today. What an odd day. I haven't all day quite managed to shake off that slight feeling of despondency. It's frustrating. I can't quite put my finger on it. I thought I had earlier. Yeah, maybe it's partly known that I'm not going to have any time for the garden in the next couple of weeks or so, and maybe that's just making me feel a bit down in the dumps because I want to be here. I want to be in my garden. So I think there's a combination of, you know, I'm a bit ticked off that I'm not going to have much time here, but also just kind of, just sort of like the little niggling worries of, you know, is it going to be okay? Are things going to grow? However, I am glad today that at least I've done a few other little bits and pieces which I haven't shown you because they're really quite tedious, but two main things today. All those brassicas, everything is now pricked out, it's all sorted, everything's in a proper gravel tray, so everything's had a really good watering today, and they've got a little bit to just soak up over the next couple of days. The tomatoes, I don't know how long any of those canes are going to last, but look, all the tomatoes are supported now, they're tied in, they're pinched out. I've gone through and taken quite a lot of the leaves out, so that's good. I just also, sorry, I just also saw Gary briefly, and I was, he said to me, he said, what's the matter, you look fed up? I was like, oh. And I was explaining how I can't be in the garden, so he's so sweet, he's offered to water for me if I can't get here, so I'll just text him to let him know. If I'm going to be able to get here, I'll text him and say, don't worry. But it does, I mean, I timed it the other day, and like I said, it was over an hour. It's about an hour and 10-15 minutes to water the whole garden. I would not dream of asking anyone to do that for me. So I've just quickly showed Gary the bits that I think are the most vulnerable. So, you know, like where I've got the fennel seedlings, which are really tiny still. Obviously all the brassicas in the pots, the celery, bits and bobs. So he's going to keep an eye on it for me, which is really, really kind of him. So I've made so much mess today, so much mess, and I have to dash. So I think I'd better say cheerio to you all and get a wriggle on. I'm not even going to show you the shed or outside the shed. It's a crazy, crazy tip. But there we go. Hopefully, you're all feeling way more joyous about your gardens than I've been feeling about mine today, and I hope you've all planned things much better than me. And oh, sorry, I wobbled you. Yeah, you got your tomato stakes in ages ago. Oh well. Like I've said so many times this season, or so it feels to me, better late than never. Alright, my lovelies, I will see you again. I'm not sure when I'll next see you, but hopefully I will see you soon. So in the meantime, please take care of yourselves and relish those beautiful moments in your gardens. Bye for now.